The next season of Fortnite, believe it or not, is not as far away as everybody thinks, with Season 3 of Chapter 3 being already 40% complete when I'm recording. Despite this season being kinda quiet and chill on the island, this has already gone quickly. And as the nights go from light to dark, even more so as we enter the winter season or September when Season 4 releases. Considering there's only 2 more updates set to occur, being 21.40 and 50 before the release of 22.00 being Season 4 of Chapter 3 itself. As we're not going to be getting a live event this season, which we're going to be discussing why later in this video, believe it or not, we have a ton of Season 4 details, which include, because there's no live event build-ups to how this is going to be happening or how we enter it, new enemies and characters being involved, battle pass skins, and so much more. So make sure you stick around and watch the full video today, as you've just witnessed a mirror get smashed, which means 7 years bad luck also if you don't. However, very quickly before we dive into it all, one favour I ask of you guys, considering it takes 2 seconds and is 100% free to do, is enter my creator code FM1 3 digits inside the Fortnite item shop. You guys already know this not only puts a giant smile on my face, but cheers up my pug Gus too, who's been kinda sad about the fact he knows that 70% of all eyes watching right now are not subscribed. With that said, hit the big red button right now as we're on our final push to 2.5 million or 2.5 million subscribers, and after all, it only benefits you as I do give different subscribers every single day. So if you ever want to receive something, simply make sure you subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on, and then comment your Epic Games ID down below and let me know what you'd like to receive, so perhaps you could be gifted like this on screen in front of hundreds of thousands of eyes to see in the next video. But with that said, now enough messing around, let's dive into everything Season 4 early, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm not, I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
Just before we go any further, I'm happy to announce that today's video is sponsored by PUBG Mobile, being one of the biggest, if not one of the most popular free-to-play Battle Royale games on mobile itself, with 50 million active daily players. Considering PUBG Mobile is this big, it's allowed them to collaborate with many big IPs and licenses out there so far in 2022, all of the ones on screen right now. Personally, I was blown away by the fact they're collaborating with the famous Amazon series The Boys, because I love this show. And of course, all of these allow us to create amazing skins and customization options for your character and also your weapons that you're using. In terms of playing, there's either solos, duos, or squads to choose from in Battle Royale, or in one of its other 10 game modes such as Weapon Master, Arcade, Sniper Training, Team Deathmatch in either first or third person, and better yet, there's new and exclusive content to discover every single week updated into the game. There's no better time to start playing than now by clicking the link in the video description down below, as the new Livic update has just recently surfaced on the 14th of May 2022. Not only can you now face 51 other players in the small dynamic map with various minigames, but speaking of these minigames or map features, my favourites are football, where you can just simply take time out from the normal Battle Royale grind or sweating it out to get the dub, which also simultaneously allows us to earn coins from playing with our allies, which can then be spent from scoring goals or obtaining coins in any other collectible way in the supply shop to earn more exceptional weapons for the game, and with the gameplay flow being ever changing with new vehicles implemented and also zip lines to traverse across the island, one thing you're definitely going to have to look out for is the volcano, because it explodes, and let's just say it might be hot. I'm just saying. It goes without saying right now, you should download this game by clicking the first link in the video description down below or in the pinned comment to play PUBG Mobile with your friends today. Okay, so with all that out of the way, the first point I want to make is that Fortnite, from looking back at previous chapters or comparing the prior one to now, Chapter 3, we can see a clear connection in terms of them correlating exactly what happens and when. For instance, at the start of Chapter 2 Season 1, we got no live event that season, and we didn't in Chapter 3 Season 1 either. The first live event then of Chapter 2 was in the second season, Chapter 2 Season 2 being the Doomsday or the Device live event, and then the first live event of Chapter 3 including a brand new device. For the Collision live event was the last live event we've currently seen, being, well, for Chapter 3 Season 2, which then led us into a flooded progressive season of regressing water, going down slowly more so on the island, revealing land as updates pass. As the last live event obviously caused some major map changes, putting us straight into downtime, with us appearing back on the island with what seems to be the reality tree. The progressive map changes this season in comparison to the flood regressing last season, or kinda dying down, revealing more areas of the land, which eventually allowed us to drive cars around it, is, for those that don't know, well, the reality tree changing POIs, and as of right now, when I'm recording anyways, there's currently reality routes on the outskirts of Sleepy Sound. This is literally just before the 21.30 update. I'm guessing this will have already changed to what data miners have been able to find the changes will be early, with different kind of themed areas rotating throughout each game we play. Basically the same context of what we've already seen at Logjam Lumberyard and the Butter Barn. And speaking of these future map changes that are going to be developing around the entire island, with reality routes eventually spreading everywhere, the next area supposedly to be affected are not only Condo Canyon but also the Daily Bugle, which has actually been standing here since the initial flipping over process of the island, which we didn't know was flippable, to be honest. However, ever since we got introduced to the Daily Bugle, knowing it was to do with the Spider-Man collaboration for the Chapter 3 Season 1 Battle Pass character, with the start of Season 2 we thought it had be gone, but it wasn't, and then in Season 2 we thought a blimp would be crashing into it, also teased in cosmetic loading screens, but then that never happened either. The start of Season 3 didn't even change that, so yeah, it looks like it's finally going to be changing somewhat anyways. Speaking of map changes though, moving on to the second point, of course, the other factor on the island that's going to be largely affecting this season, or maybe even doing something different or countering the effects of the reality tree, is the 0 point. Honestly, by now the 7 should know better than to uncontain this or have it above the Earth's surface or crust, anywhere basically out of the in-between or the bridge between both sides of the islands. Not much currently has happened with this, despite a few more waves coming off of it with each update that's currently passed. However, there was this voice line from the scientist who's already starting to worry.
There it is again. Another 0-point energy shockwave, magnitude 7.2. The 0 point has gotta be bringing these relics here because it wants us to have them, right? And, you didn't hear this from me, but since we're almost friends, now is the time to be worried.
This is honestly so important and tells us a lot we need to know about going forward throughout the storyline of not only this season but Chapter 3 as a whole. The reason for this being is because we know the 0 point is the heart of Fortnite's reality, or the Fortnite loop, so to speak. You know, this thing that we flew into, the Flipside Island contained within it, in the live event of Collision. And now that this tree, although it seems nature-like seemingly and everyone's partying around it, vibing as if it's a cause for good, we know very little about this, and from the sinister ending of the Season 3 cinematic trailer, it looks like it won't be a force for good at all. This character that many seem to think is the Cube Queen looking through a crystal ball after surviving perhaps the crashing down into the water from the island flipping over, despite the resemblances of the purple face and different style of this kind of zero bloom from not only what's coming off the reality tree resembling her, but also the 0 point bloom state from the Zero Crisis finale event when starting up Chapter 2 Season 6 for the first time. As this character's clearly interested in this new map change that people don't seem to suspect right now, it's very clear whatever it is either wanting to manipulate the reality tree or is interested in the progression of it, perhaps for its own benefits. And speaking of the Cube Queen, of course, if we zoom in on the outskirts of the island, we see this kind of giant glowing orange or yellow ball, which for those that don't know was where the Cube Queen obviously charged up or prepared for the end event or harnessed enough power to basically have what happened in the end event for Chapter 2, despite us not knowing either way who this character is fully as of now, with the character looking like this that we've seen early on survey form, and we know these surveys to be accurate considering this is what the Origin and the Sisters look like initially on here. Whoever this is or whoever it's working with, perhaps even Jenna that we saw for the first time in the Season 2 live event, they clearly have their own ideas for what happens with the Fortnite reality or inside the loop that us Battle Royale Island inhabitants are currently on. Moving on to our next point, speaking of Jenna, of course, what's confusing about this season is at the end of the live event, Jones and the Foundation jumped into the 0 point to find Jenna, and with them initially landing down in this brand new reality as the sky looks completely different from anything or any colour we've seen in Battle Royale or the loop before, with this story yet to be continued or shown to be continued to us anyways, as it's already happened so it seems, because otherwise why would Jones and the Foundation be back on the Fortnite Island in the Season 3 trailer after this live event occurred? Have they fulfilled their mission of finding Jenna or stopping what he had intended? And with that said, does that mean Dr. Sloan's not dead? I'm guessing they wouldn't have killed her off so easily or so ironically in the live event itself, rather so just made us believe that. Jenna programmed also that data miners managed to determine as a fun kind of spin-off fact, walking into the distance forever after turning its back after the tiny glimpse that we got of the silhouette of his face, or its face, whatever it is. One thing's for certain either way, considering many people thought Dr. Sloan to be with Jenna, or this be Jenna in this image, being Jones's dad potentially. From a side-by-side comparison, it doesn't look like this is going to be the case. That then begs the question, moving on to our next point, however, who is this character who's actually seeming to rank above Dr. Sloan in the imagined order, who seems to only answer to Jenna? And believe it or not, the concept of Jenna, what we know it as currently or have seen, has been teased in a prior Dr. Sloan loading screen, and despite the question of who this character is, when are we going to be seeing him contained throughout a future battle pass, as Epic Games have clearly embedded him in the storyline as a character? As of right now, he's not on any of the surveys that Fortnite have released and actually pulled skins into the game off of early, whether it's for crew packs, item shop skins, prior battle passes, this battle pass. As you can see, Evie was on here and also Malik. It's safe to say because of that, this character could be saved by Epic Games for the ending of this chapter, or largely being involved toward its end. And the crazy thing about looking at these surveys yet again that Epic Games have released is that we're looking at the future of Battle Royale cosmetics and battle passes or characters that are going to be involved in said storyline leading up to the ending of Chapter 3. Whether it is going to be a 10-season chapter, 8-season chapter, or even potentially a 6-season chapter, Chapter. As it seems from Chapter 2 Chapter itself, we've lost 2 seasons each time in what makes up initially a whole chapter of Fortnite. Either way, whatever is happening, it's safe to say Epic Games seem to have predetermined it in terms of not only writing the story out, but planning the updates for the next seasons. As Sheena stated on Twitter, Epic is currently planning to release 4 major patches in Season 4 and Season 5, so the last patch of these seasons will be 22.40 and 23.40. For the current season, again as I previously mentioned, Epic is planning 5 major patches, so the last patch will be 21.50. If you're excited for these future updates or Season 4 as a whole, slap a like in today's video and make sure you subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on so that you don't miss any future uploads. But speaking of other videos, make sure to interact with anything on screen right now. I don't mind, however, most importantly, hopefully I can catch you in the very next video I do post on the channel.